Test, testing, testing. 1, 2, test, test.
Am I on? Test 1, 2. Oh. Okay. Well, they won't, oh, really? Was it from the outage? Oh, good. So, I will try to talk loud then. Confirmation. Does anybody have any clue without reading and giving it away? What is confirmation? Youth, do you have any idea? You can use your mic now. Oh, well, okay. We back on? Oh, yes, we are. I'm probably really. Can you turn me down just a tad? Yes. Thanks, Katie. Sorry for anybody that's watching online and didn't get any of that original stuff, but welcome. So, I just asked the youth, what is confirmation? Does anybody have any idea what confirmation is? From your older siblings, or maybe from the word itself? Do you have a guess of it?
Is it the affirmation of our baptism?
Yes, affirmation of baptism. It's totally good. Way to use your resources, Everett. I like it. So, think about the word confirmation. What's a part of that word is confirm, right? Another word for that is to affirm. So to confirm or affirm is to say yes to something, right? To say it's true. And that's what you're doing in confirmation. So most of you, if not all of you, were baptized when you were just really small. And you couldn't do anything but eat and cry and poop probably, right? And your parents brought you to the baptismal font, and they made some promises on your behalf that they made for you because you couldn't make them for yourself, right? Does that make sense? Because you're just a little bitty baby. I'm going to give you each one of these. And then, as you grow older, what happens is in the Lutheran church, because we baptize little bitty babies, we have you come back and do something called confirmation, which is then we talk about and learn about faith, and we talk about a lot of things, and it becomes a thing where then you are able to say yes. I believe this, and it's not just my parents. Does that make sense? Yeah. So you're getting to this age now where you can start to ask tough faith questions, right? And you can navigate and grow in your faith a little bit. You could read your Bible on your own. You could walk to church if you lived close enough, even if your parents couldn't drive. But, you can do things in your faith all on your own. And so at this age, that's why we do this when you get a little bit older, because we want you to be able to start making decisions about your faith on your own. So that's what confirmation is all about. And you know what I love about confirmation? Guess what? If it was up to us, we'd mess it up, right? We'd make mistakes every day. If it was fully up to me to earn my salvation or my way, you could say my way into heaven, or you know what I mean? If it was up to me to do good enough or be good enough to deserve God's love, I'd fail, right? I make mistakes all the time. I get frustrated, angry, I can get upset at my kids. I can sometimes do things that I'm not so proud of, right? And we all do that. And we know that because of Jesus, that's not all up to us, right? We're given the gift of grace, which is God's free love without having to do anything to earn it or deserve it. So that's what we learn about in confirmation. So then, as you get older, you can say, this is what I believe, and it's not just about my parents. Cool? I love what Pastor Bruce says. We steal this from Pastor Bruce. He always says, we're saying yes to the God who said yes to us. Cool? And it's not an ending or a graduation, but just a beginning. So typically grades 7, 8, and 9, and then in 10th grade is when you're confirmed, spring of your 10th grade year. Now, we all know that we're going to be sad and saying goodbye to Pastor Bruce. He's retiring. We know that it's a wonderful new beginning, and we're going to have an incredible new pastor by the time you start in the fall. We have typically done confirmation the Sunday after Easter in the spring, but by the time you're confirmed, you've got some time, and there might be a possibility that with a new pastor, some things like that can change, and you never know. And we won't know until they get here, and they get a chance to get to know us, and we get to know them, and sometimes you change things up because you think, oh, maybe we should try this, or, so that's just kind of the way life is, right? So we ebb and flow. And I know that Pastor Bruce is going to miss having all of you in confirmation, but had the incredible blessing of having you in Pathfinders. I always forget the name. It's hard for me to remember the names of all 3 grade different levels. So I'm glad that you guys got to have him in Pathfinders. So a couple things that are really important about confirmation. So if I point to you, would you be willing to shout out if I say a number and then you shout out what it is? And that'll help us sometimes when I talk all the time, it gets boring, and then you also this will help you listen a little better, right? So Josh, would you be willing to shout out number 1? No, what does it say after number 1? Sorry, I'm putting you on the spot. 2 words. There you go. Be involved. If you're not here, then we can't teach you. And we do record things so you can watch it at home. So that's your job to make up anything you miss at home. We record it live, and then the links are on our general YouTube page. So anytime you miss, you can go there, and it's just up to you to do that. It's your responsibility. Any of the worship notes service hours you will get to do, you'll keep track of on your own as well. And a typical Wednesday night goes from 6:30 to 8, and we have games and large group and small group. We do a lot of fun things. We have some teaching time. We sing songs. And kids really love the small group time because they get to know some friends better. We also have an optional pizza supper at 6 p.m., $5 a person, and then you sign up each week. Family Matters nights are when we bring a speaker from outside to come in and share on a topic, and then parents attend with the kids, and right here in the sanctuary usually. We do service nights, and then we have some fellowship nights. So all these different things that you get to do. Do you have any questions about any of those? Okay, how about number 2, Cole? Shout it out. Worship notes. So we do 15 of those a year. Why 15? I don't know, because we just thought that was a number that we could go with, that there's 52 weeks in a year, right, plus Lent, so we know there's 60-some worship services during a year you could do worship notes. We thought, well, 15 is an okay number to just have as a goal. Would we love for you to do more? Absolutely. You can do as many as you want. You could do 30 in a year. Here's what we find about worship notes and service hours. If you work ahead and you did all 45 in one year, you're typically a family that's coming to worship regularly, and it's not like you're going to hit 45 and stop, right? But like a lot of kids that do that just continue to work on them. Now, there's two different kinds of worship notes. They're in that back corner back there. There's a blue one that is like if you like to write and doodle and fill out more stuff, you can fill that one out and turn that in. You can also, there's a small green one that's a family worship note, and you could have a conversation as a family on the drive home and turn that one in, and then just say, we talked about worship, we talked about our faith questions, and then that's your worship note if you are not as interested in writing, right? And that's not so much your forte. I'd encourage you to do some of both. And I see Pastor Bruce is grabbing one of each, so you can see them. It's always nice to have a team, right? Questions about worship notes. We want you to do 3 each year during Lent, which is the 6 weeks leading up to Easter. So this is what they look like. The green and blue, and you've probably seen kids do these, right? They're kind of fun. One of the most important things that I love about this is that we are a congregation that encourages you to ask tough faith questions. So I pray that this is a tradition that the new pastor will continue, but Pastor Bruce has always answered the questions that the kids write on here in a fair amount of detail, actually. Sometimes covers the back of the page, and I just love that we are a congregation that doesn't say, if you question your faith, it's wrong. No, actually the opposite. We say, if you are asking faith questions, that means that you're growing in your faith. You're challenging some things. And Pastor Bruce and I have both shared stories about how we have struggled in our faith when we are your age. That is not something that makes you bad or wrong, or it's a part of growing in our faith.
And you can do them online as well.
Yes.
If you're not here in person, you can always do it online. Or if you go to another church and you're worshiping there, you can do it there too. So don't feel like you have to be here on a Sunday to do one of the worship notes.
Yeah, yep. So questions about that at all? Okay. Service hours, 12 a year. We did that because it was 1 a month. And so again, same sort of thing as worship notes. We want you to live a life of service and serve more like Jesus. We don't want you to be paid or receive credit through any other organizations. And we would like you to do at least 6 of them through church. So if you help out with like Sunday school or Vacation Bible School, if you're doing Feed My Starving Children, and we do a Feed My Starving Children in September, and then in the spring we'll have next week we're doing tie blankets for our graduates with our confirmation kids, different things like that. But sometimes your small group will do something together. Anything that you do that is helping someone else that's not paid, or you're not getting an allowance at home. So even like during COVID, there were a lot of kids that did things to help out at home, and they just did it to be helpful, right? Like our closest neighbors are who? Whoever lives under your roof, right? So actually serving your neighbor is even about helping those people in your own home, right? So that's an important thing to remember too, is helping out at home is a way that we share God's love with our family. So on the back, some ideas from Light of Christ Vacation Bible School. The dates are there. Helping in worship, reading scripture, all those ushered readers serve communion. Some of you have been doing a lot of that. That's awesome. And again, you just keep track of all this. If you are interested, I have never typically given out the tracking sheet until fall when we do orientation, but I know some of you have already been doing some stuff. Go ahead and keep track of that. I could even send you the form ahead of time, but it's just a sheet of paper that you write it in, and then what happens is the kids meet with the pastor before they are confirmed, and you have a one-on-one sort of faith conversation, and you would bring that with your service hours and worship notes at that time. So that's not until your sophomore year. It seems like a long ways away, but it goes really fast. The food distribution is the second Monday of each month our congregation does. It's a really neat opportunity to serve. Any special events, Sunday school, things like that. So how about number 4? Everett, will you shout out those 2 words right after 4? Fall retreat. So we like to go to Lake Wapagasset out in Amory, Wisconsin for a fun retreat in the fall where we get away, have some fun, eat some good meals, have some more time to play games and have conversations. This has really varied over the last couple of years between COVID and some date conflicts. The last year we had it scheduled and it ended up falling right over homecoming, so we had to cancel, scheduled it again, and then it was opening Minnesota deer hunting, and so anyway, it did not happen this last fall. I'm really hopeful that I'm working on the date right now with our WAPO coordinator, so hopefully I'll have that to you soon because I know how helpful it is to know in advance. You willing to shout it out, Caleb? Parent involvement. We couldn't do it without you. So one of the biggest areas that we need is co-guides. Now, I know that sounds really intimidating, but here's the deal. You get to experience confirmation with your kids. You show up on a Wednesday night. It's really just doing confirmation with the kids that are here. And then, so we'll be outside playing a game, and then we come in here for large group, and we have worship and faith questions, and do the large, and have the teaching in here. And then you go off into small group, and 2 adults together lead some discussion questions that are led by Pastor Bruce, or it'll be the new pastor in the fall. So it's really a fun experience to be able to do it with the kids, and it's a shared experience. Then you're able to have more conversation with your child about what they're experiencing in confirmation. You can lead your own kids group if that seems like a great fit. Some people will have conversation with their kid and say, nope, that's not going to be the best for us, so I would love to be a leader, but I'm going to lead a different kids group, right? Here's what I've found from the adult leaders, if you've been involved with like just the sophomores that got confirmed. The guides get such an incredible amount of, I get goosebumps thinking about it. The guides that really invest in their groups and their kids, this is a magical time for confirmation guides. So I'd invite you to prayerfully consider it. I'm constantly looking to get more dads involved, so we'd love to have you. We've got some great parents that help out, and I have some leaders that are not parents. So if you ever have a recommendation, I would love that. But talk about it as a family. See if that's something that and here's the thing. There are some groups that have, like we have a 7th grade group right now that has 3 parents, and they share that role, the 3 of them, and there's always 2 of them here, because part of our agreement is that we always need to have, for the safety of our kids, have 2 adults with every group of kids, right? So you can do an arrangement like that. You could have 2 couples share it. You could, lots of different options, right? But essentially you get out of it what you put into it. I've had guides that have done bare minimum and it's still a good experience. And then I've had guides that have arranged, like gatherings for their kids outside of, and they've really grown close. And we try to keep the groups together the same for all 3 years. Now, we're not going to force that if it's not, you know what I mean? Like, we might discover that we need to make some tweaking and changing. We'll do that if we need to. So that's the biggest area where we need parent involvement, but then you can help with, like, the pizza dinner, slice, service events, fellowship night. So, like, the small groups have fellowship night, and maybe a guide can't host that at your home, so a different parent might host it for their group, something like that. Friday Night Lights is the second Friday of every month in the school year, so you'll be able to attend those, and I always need a second adult at that. We're having our summer activity nights coming up. Those dates are below. And again, just 2 adults at every event. You could also attend the retreat in the fall. McKenna, would you say the next one, number 6? Okay, so I'm going to be sending you a link sometime early summer that you can register your child for confirmation. This will just give us all the information that we need, liability release, photo release, things like that, and you'll get to do it all online. Next one, Tegan. So we have a Google Calendar that I'll send you a link for that you can subscribe, connect it with yours if you want to. I'm not a techie genius, so I've had some people ask about if they use Android, that sort of thing. We've tried to navigate, we'll figure it out. I think I'll help navigate it however I can, but it's a Google Calendar just like the schools that you can subscribe to, and then it shows up on your calendar. Real slick. Oh, now I need your name again. Lauren, thank you so much, and I'm glad you were able to come. Can you say number 8 for me? Awesome. Thanks, Lauren. So these are super fun, and I hope you'll come. I decided this year to do 7 to 8 p.m. for your grade and 7th grade, so the first 2 years of confirmation this year. And then 8 to 9 p.m. is going to be completed grades 9 through 12 and any of those college kids, just so that it gives a little bit of separation with the age group. So put those dates on your calendar. Invite a friend. You can even invite a friend that doesn't go here to Light of Christ if you want to. We'll have some ice cream. We'll play games outside, have some time to hang out, maybe a bonfire. We'll see. It kind of depends on the day. But it's a Monday evening, so from 7 to 8. And if you can't make it, I totally get it. But watch for, sometimes we'll have other things planned, but those 3 for sure you can put on your calendar. So our website's there, my email, cell phone number, our Instagram page, if that's a thing you follow, we'll post some events there. And now it's your time for questions. So what things did you think of while we talked through all that? I answered all of your questions? Whew. Some of you have had older kids that have experienced this, so you're the experts. How many of you parents grew up in a Lutheran church? Yeah. So what was faith background for you? Baptist. Covenant. Okay. So it's a fun, the thing that I've found for parents, and I don't know about you, but I hear things differently at 46 than I did when I was, 12, 15, 25, right? And so that really is one of the coolest things about doing confirmation when your kids enter, I think, because I feel like we as adults learn as much as the kids do. Kids are profound. They have incredible ways of looking at things, and sometimes that's what I learn is like a perspective that only a kid can share, right? And then it's also just like information from the person. I teach 9th grade and Pastor Bruce teaches 7th and 8th, and I think that's how we'll do it in the fall. So we come together in large group, and then 7th and 8th grade stays in here with the pastor, and I take the 9th grade to the living room for their little breakout. And I love learning new things, and about the Bible, about faith, and so I think as adults that's one of the cool things about being able to be a guide is to really learn and grow right along with your kids. So I encourage you to think about that, and if you might be interested in, if I had a guide here to share with, I've done that before. I had Jennifer Slipka come last year, and it's really amazing to hear how rewarding it is for the guides as much as it is the kids. So, and I know you 6th graders might think, oh, I don't know if I want my parent involved, but it's really cool to be able to have a conversation with a parent if they're here, and they can always lead a group other than yours if you think it'd be better for you to be able to have some different adults lead your group, right? So, cool. So you can fill out that yellow sheet. Couple things we like to know is who you'd want to be in a group with. You can let us know in order so that, and it helps if they're one that also requested you. Forming the groups, I will tell you, is really like putting together a big jigsaw puzzle, because I need to know who my guards are, whether they want to be with their kids, how the number of boys and girls, that always makes a difference, how we're forming groups. But so I spend a lot of time trying to make these as best as they can. I will always make sure that you are with at least one person that you request, and if for some reason I've got questions about that, I will call you and say, here's the situation I have. Yada, yada, yada. What do you think? Do you think this person, so there might be like, oh, I could list 7 people, but I'm going to put 3, and I might have to call you and say, what do you think about this scenario? But I'll do my best to make it as exciting for I know that that's probably one of the biggest things for the kids is who's in their small group, right? But here's the thing I'll tell you, 6th graders, is most of the time we are all together, right? We're all together in here for it's an hour and a half on a Wednesday night for at least an hour and, sometimes a little bit more. You only have about 20 to 25 minutes in small groups. So, and if we talk really long, it's only 15, right, Pastor Bruce? I know, me too. And then if parents, how you'd like to help out, that's great. If there's any topics you'd like to recommend for Family Matters, that's when we bring in those speakers. Any basic questions about confirmation, if you didn't feel comfortable saying it out loud, recommendations you have, like, oh, I had this amazing confirmation experience when I was growing up and we did this, I'd love to hear about it. Always, always, always know that you can come to us with feedback, ideas, 100% of the time. And I will tell you that I won't know if something's wrong unless you come and talk to us, right? So if there's something going on in your confirmation group, kids or parents, you have to, I wish I was telepathic, but I'm not. And then any questions you have about God and faith, because I think that just helps our youth to see that even as adults, we struggle with things, right? Like, it's important for us to ask tough questions too. So, okay, look at that, 5:30. Not bad, huh? Share information with your friends that weren't here. I will be emailing out to those that weren't able to attend. And we'll stick around and answer any questions you have, but we're really excited to have you start in the fall. And I know we're all a little like, who's going to be the pastor? We're really going to miss Pastor Bruce, but I promise that the call committee, I've heard from we don't know anything. I've heard from the call committee that they are very excited, and we should know in a couple weeks. So timeline, May 19th, I think Paul Ludwig is sharing information in worship. And then June 9th, hopefully that person will preach in worship. So it's coming fast. Yeah. July 21 is past. Say again? We're getting close. July 21st is Pastor Bruce's last sermon, regular sermon, but then on September 29th is kind of a celebration Sunday. And you are preaching that one too? I am. Okay. So September 29 is the very, very last hurrah. So he'll come back, and the new pastor's here, but that's what we knew in summertime's a hard time to get people here for celebrations, so we're doing that September 29th. So put those dates on your calendar if you don't have them. Okay, well, super excited for you guys to start confirmation. Thanks for being here, and enjoy your evening. It's hard to believe that we are May 1st. It really was kind of a May Day sort of day. Yeah, that's for sure. So stay and fill out your yellow sheet if you and leave it with us. You can just set them on the island as you leave. That'd be great. Perfect. Yep. Thank you so much. Thanks for being here.